sleeping? When we passed out, I dreamed. I saw Mom in the Aurora. You were there too.
Really? That's so weird. I had the same dream too. I wanted to ask you about that.
Maybe we really were there.
Wait a second. You mean it wasn't a dream?
Yeah.
Well, were we able to get to the Aurora?
Well, Mom was there.
So it was like a dream?
Yeah, it was like a dream. But it wasn't a dream.
She thanked us for coming, didn't she?
Yeah.
She said she had something to tell us. And it was something for Akaim and Sarah.
Sarah, don't spy on your grandchildren.
Tell them what she said.
Nah, I doubt that. They're not like that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are going. Like I've said, we are going straight to the end. Unless I have to grind for bonus dungeon or post game stuff, we are going to the end.
Tell me what
Yeah.
she said.
Together, okay?
1, 2, thank you.
Wow. And then she went on like she really wanted to tell us something.
Yeah, she did.
She said she loved us.
She said she was glad we came.
Yeah, she was glad.
Now we can't use her jump function anymore. We broke it when we were leaving Ura.
God damn it.
Gosh,
Then we
more
can't
delicate
fly.
than I thought.
Oh, Ma, don't go saying that.
Mama? What are you, 60? That's just sick.
What? You got a problem with that?
No, I think it's really very endearing. Yes.
I think it's endearing, and it honestly makes said funny.
Where are the kids?
Asleep. It appears they've seen Mira.
I see.
Gungora might not be there when we return to Ura.
Why?
When I was helping Ced, Gungora had boarded Grand Staff. After that, Grand Staff seemed to just fly away.
What? It flew? That thing can fly?
I think we'd have a better chance of finding Gungora if we looked for Grand Staff, rather than returning to Ura. What do you think, Kain?
Yeah. If we keep heading south, where does that put us?
The land of the Eastern Tribe.
Let's land and take on supplies. And might be able to tweak the Nautilus for more power, too.
Ced, this ship is a submarine, right? Can we find an underwater passage to an inland lake?
That's a great idea. Ced, set course.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
You're still captain of this ship, Ced.
And yet you're still giving orders, Mama.
Kain, Sarah, Ced. I remember everything. The Hall of Mirrors, 30 years ago.
Oh, okay. What does this mean? Is this where Gungora basically betrayed us? Yes, it is.
Do you remember the world on the other side?
We must return. We can't stay here. We're not from this world.
Yeah, that much I remember.
When these mirrors give off light, a path links the two worlds.
I shall remain here.
They won't allow it.
Don't you feel the light?
Oh, I feel it.
Time has begun to flow again.
1,000 years was a long time.
And yet, those 1,000 years were very important.
A sleeping spell.
That won't work.
You think? You don't understand. As long as we and these mirrors remain here, magic energy will increase in this world. This place shall soon be replete with that magic, and we will be able to access power stronger than any ever known.
To do what?
Pull stuff out of my ass.
So set your mind at rest. I won't kill you until then. Until then.
Seriously, every time they want to just remind us Gangora is an immortal, they do it in the most boring as shit way possible.
He killed Liram, and he took advantage of Anira's betrayal of Seth, threatening me and leaving my subjects' very lives hanging in the balance.
I mean, technically, he didn't kill Liram. We found her. She died of natural causes. So,
He used our shock and distress to steal our memories.
Yes.
yeah, it's like, yeah. Okay. Chip interior. He's, oh my god, we can actually we have other people. But I will admit, I actually do want to go on real quick, another intermission. The kind of the halfway point. I probably might be basically just be basically editing this out for so we have this straight for disc 2. So yeah, be right back. I'm taking the gum and candy, so I'm going to be a little bit quiet for this moment. Justin, you get the fuck right back there. Justin, you get the fuck right to that back. Okay, so it looks like we can go anywhere, including Ura. Okay, cool. So this part will be a little bit of kind of cleanup-y stuff. All right. So first thing is something we got in the last stream, which is the letter to mom, and we need to um oh, wrong way. Interesting. That must. Yeah, that's the way that Jensen and Ming came. Okay, so we can't go that back the way. Oh, I also forgot about the hot seat. Okay, everyone has 10. Okay, so we'll give this to Seth and this to Ming. Seth, we can give you. I need to eat this one because this is where a story is supposed to be. Bring on a story, so hold on. There we go. Are you alright? Do you feel any pain? I'm fine, I'm fine. It's just a cold. I'll be okay with some rest. Stop worrying about me. A terrible epidemic is ravaging the kingdom. The onset of the disease is sudden. Due to genetic or perhaps hormonal factors, it only strikes males. Oh, either way would work. Oh. Now with this gone, yeah. The victim experiences high fever, a violent headache, and often a swift death. Also, that's a really sexist disease. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't worry, I'm kidding. The disease does have two hopeful aspects. First of all, once an individual survives it, he need not fear catching it again. From then on he has immunity. Secondly, an extremely effective medicine exists. Shimmy. Sorry about that. If used preventatively, or in the initial stages of the disease, the drug, tablet made primarily from a plant that grows in mountains, almost always results in a cure. Does this mean people can relax and that there is no need to worry? Unfortunately not. For an ironic twist of fate is something that life tends to thrust upon people all too often. The high altitude plant used to make the medicine is so effective in prevention is extremely and early cure extremely rare, verging on extinction. In other words, there's not enough medicine for all the kingdom subjects, only for certain people. You see what I mean? Asked Doc, the quiet man on patrol in the capital's marketplace with his fellow military policeman time. Sending a sharp gaze down one alley after another, Time responds, "You're saying they rank people to decide who gets the medicine?" Exactly, says Duke, a Doc. In deciding the rank order, they brand us either as subjects indispensable to the nation or other subjects. Capital military policemen will receive their medicine relatively early, which demonstrates their ranking as subjects indispensable to the nation. I guess it does make sense, Doc goes on. If all of us were to keel over, order in the capital would break down like nothing. You always have to be the picture of health as we patrol the city, right, Time? For the sake of the homeland, as they say. I suppose so. First, the royal's family gets medicine, then the royal guards. Third come the politicians, and then the financiers who run the country's economy. The police and firemen, doctors, and finally us, the Capitol Military Police. There's not enough to give it to just anybody. Wouldn't the Capitol Military Police count as the police? What's the difference? That feels fucking stupid. Doc all but spits out those strong words and he asks, "What do you think, Kime? Ordinary subjects are people too. Is it okay to rank them like that?" In theory, Kime should be able to reply without hesitation. That, of course, is not okay. But realistically speaking, he says, there's no way around it. He reverses his gaze from Dukes as he hears himself saying these words. No way around it, huh? He mutters with obvious distaste. Maybe you're right. Maybe there is no way around it. He sounds as if he's trying to convince himself. In fact, it does seem the only means to open to them. The folks here in Marketplace know about the disease, obviously. Obviously, answers Duke. Talk. If their fears get the better of them, they can riot in it at any time. Absolutely. We can manage to keep peace by patrolling the streets like this. I know what you mean. If we were to succumb to the disease, their lives would be all the more at risk. But all the more at risk. If we can't dose every subject in the kingdom, all we can think about is how to best keep the harm or the impact of the disease to an absolute minimum. Couldn't said it better myself, time. You get a perfect score. Good job. His words of praise carry obvious fire, sensing their presence. Time, false time. Underlying Doc's sharp comments is not only the pain of biting sarcasm, but the sorrow of helplessness. Two children, a boy and a younger girl, run past the man, laughing. Dressed in rags, they probably come from the slum behind the market to gather scraps of vegetables, better, little better than garbage. Don points their receding forms and says, "I'd like to ask you a question, Kyle. All right. Are those kids subjects indispensable to the nation?" Time has no answer for him because he knows the right answer all too well. He only lapsed into silence. Responding to Kime's silence with a bitter smile, Doc goes on. According to your logic, Kime, if those kids fall sick and die, there's no way around it. Or at least Capitol Police like us have greater right to the medicine than those kids do. Am I right, Kime? Isn't that what you're saying? Kime could hardly declare that he was wrong. Responding again to Kime's silence, Doc says, "Now don't misunderstand me. I'm not attacking you. It's just that everybody's indispensable to somebody. Even those kids. They may be nuisance to the state, poor beggars, but to their parents, their indisputable lives they must be protected at all costs. Am I wrong?" What a kind-hearted fellow, Kime thinks. Maybe too kind. To a degree that could prove fatal for a soldier. From the direction of the castle comes the sound of the great bell. An emergency assembly signal to the soldiers patrolling the street. Medicine seems to have arrived for that. Let's head back. Head back, Doc pipes up, apparently emerging from his gloom. Let's be good boys to take the miraculous medicine that's going to save our lives and protect the kingdom. The sorrow-filled forms running from his words pierced Kime through the heart. It is the following day when Doc tells Kime his plan to desert. "I'm only telling this to you, Kime," he says when they are patrolling the marketplace again. "I know the punishment for desertion is harsh. I'm not sure I can make it all the way, and if I'm not, I'll be court-martialed and executed." Much better. He has resigned himself to that possibility, he says, which is why he wants to make sure that Kime knows the purpose of his position. "I'm not betraying the country or the army. I just have to deliver this." In his open palm lies the tablet he was issued the day before. "You didn't take it?" Kime asked, shocked. "No, I fooled him." He chuckles, immediately turning serious again, closing his open hand. "You're going to deliver this tablet?" Uh-huh. Doc holds his hand out, pointing toward holds out his hand now, pointing towards the mountains south of the capital. At the foot of those mountains is the village where I was born. My wife and son. He's just 5 years old and he's been sickly since the day he was born. Jimmy, if he gets the disease, it's all over for him. They're gonna give him medicine. You think it's wrong of me to do that? Transfixed by Doc's stare, Time is at a loss for words. Suddenly, the gentle Doc's eyes betray a murderous gleam. I may be a soldier dedicated to protecting the nation, but before that I am the father of a son. Before that, I am a human being. I don't give a damn about the kingdom's ranking of lives according to whether or not they're indispensable. I want to save the life of one being who's indispensable to me. Doc's eyes take on added strength. They are bloodshot now. They are proof of his resolve. If I leave now, I'll be back in the barracks by roll call tomorrow morning. I'll leave home as soon as I give him the medicine. I'm asking you to do this. Do just one favor. Don't cause any commotion until then. No, of course not, but I'm not sure I can make it, but I'm sure my boy will die if I just stay here. He'll pull through if he has the medicine. If there's even the slightest possibility that I have no choice. I have to take a chance. They'll kill you if they catch you. I don't care. I could die with pride, knowing I did it to save the life of the one person most important. What if you get sick? All I can do is leave it up to fate, Doc smiles. Human beings can't do anything about fate. But what do I want to But I do want to do everything I can as a human being. This is why Doc has revealed his plans to Kai. One more thing, Kai. If they kill me, or if I get sick and die, I hope I can depend on you to visit my village sometime and tell my wife and son what happened. Make sure they know I didn't desert because I got fed up with the army. I did it to save my son's life, which is something that is way more important to me than army rule is being more important than my own life. You will be satisfied as long as that message gets through, he says with a smile. Time has no way to reply to this. Not that Kime fully accepts everything Doc has said to him. He is convinced not so much by the Red Man's reasoning as he is overwhelmed by something that transcends reason, by the power of life, by the strength and depth of Doc's desire to save a life precisely because it's something that will eventually be cut off by death. I'm going to make a run for it while we're patrolling the market. I'm asking you to look the other way. Willemite disappeared when you took your eyes off me for a split second. Time has nothing to do but accept Doc's plea in silence. He sees that deep in the hearts of those who love infinite life is a place that cannot be entered by those who've been burdened irre, 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 irrevocably. I always fumble. That's another word I always fumble on. With life everlasting. The two men reach the far end of the marketplace. Right then. Sorry to put you through this, Fox says. He turns towards the exit and is about to plunge into the crowd with an effort. A child comes bounding out of the alley. It is the same shabbily dressed girl from the slums who ran past the men yesterday laughing. Today she is alone and crying her head off. She looks around with wild eyes, and when she spots Time and Doc in uniform, she comes running to them, shouting, "Help! Help! What's the matter?" Doc asks. She takes his hand and leads him to the alleyway to prevent the surrounding people from hearing what she is about to tell him. "It's my brother," she blurts out. "He's sick. He's got a high fever and he's shaking all over. We've got to do something or he's going to die." Time and Doc look at each other. "How about your parents? Don't you have father and mother to take care of him?" Time asks. "What parents?" the girl retorts tearfully. "They both died a long time ago. There's just me and my big brother. Oh, please help him. Please." "But I was just," Doc mutters, fidgeting, ready to run. He looks at Time with bleeding eyes. Time kneels down and looks at the girl straight in the eye. "When did his fever start?" he asks. "Just a few minutes ago," she says. "We were leaving to pick up vegetable scraps and he fell down." Only a little time has passed since the disease struck. He could still be saved by the medicine. But of course, there is no medicine for slum children. Judging from the girl's wasted frame, her brother must also be eating poorly. The disease will most surely ravage his malnourished body and snatch his life in a matter of hours. The girl will not come down with the disease, but even if it cannot attack her directly, once she has lost the only other member of her family and has no one to take care of her, the tiny thing is bound to trace the same fatal path as the parents and brothers sooner or later. "Please help my brother. Please." She clings to Kime and Doc, huge tears streaming down her cheeks. Kime gives her a slight, silent nod. He rises slowly and reaches for a small leather pouch dangling from his sword hilt. Before he can lay hold of it, he hears Doc saying to the little girl, "Don't worry. Doc's holding his hand out to her, smiling gently. In the palm of his hand is a tablet. Give this to your brother, Doc says. There's still time to save him. The girl gives him a puzzled look and hesitates until he urges her. Hurry, do it now. She reaches for it uncertainly and takes it in hand with great care. Hurry home, now, Doc says with a smile for her. The girl dashes off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Her shrill, tearful voice rings out as she disappears into the alleyway. Glad it worked out like this time, Doc says with a shrug and a pained smile. So now I won't be branded a deserter. I won't have to give you anything to worry about. No, this is a good thing. He sounds as if he's trying to convince himself, even nods deeply in agreement. Surely he cannot have done this without regret, especially if his son at home should take sick and die. His voice is calm, however, as he says, I couldn't help it. When I saw that little girl crying like that, I know my son would understand. He gives himself another deep nod. Still, Doc. Never mind. Don't say that. Doc cuts him off and squints towards the elevator the girl ran down. There's absolutely no rank order to lives. The only thing that matters is the stable life you see with your own two eyes. You know what you mean sometimes. Just because I saved one slum kid's life, there's no guarantee he'll grow up to be a credit to the nation. Maybe I succeeded in maybe all I succeeded in doing was prolonging the life of yet another drag on the state. Maybe after I get back to the barracks, they'll start thinking of other people I should have saved instead of him. On the other hand, Kime, he says, interrupting himself and turning to look at Kime as he considers yet another possibility. On the other hand, I look at it this way too. Maybe it is just a matter of innate human instinct to want to save the life before your eyes. Maybe we'll learn those other kinds of ranking later, for the nation, or for other people, or even for my son. I may have failed as a soldier or as a father, but I think I did the right thing as a human being. Doc stops himself there and starts walking without waiting for Kime to reply. He might be trying to hide his embarrassment as his own tortured reasoning. Seeing this, Kime produces a laugh and calls out to Doc, as casually as if he were suggesting they go to the tavern for drinks. Hey, Doc, you forgot this. Now Kime finishes what he interrupted before, reaching for a leather pouch tied to his sword hilt. From it, he takes a small pill. What? You mean I didn't take it? Incapable of losing his life to disease, Kime had no use for medicine to begin with. Of course, he has no intention of telling Doc about that. Even if we were trying to tell him that he lived 1,000 years, it's not likely that Doc would take him seriously. You have family, Doc. Why should you give anything to protect? That is a great thing. Now Kimes holds out a hand with a tablet in the way Doc did to the girl earlier to the girl. I envy you, says with a smile. Wait, Kime, wait. Hey, I mean you. I don't have family, he says, piercing the depth of his smile. Responding to Kime's smile with a mixture of loneliness and warmth, Doc silently accepts the tablet. Well now, would you look at that beautiful blue sky, Kime says Kime. Just stand here looking up at it. Not thinking about anything at all. This might be a good time for you to run home to your son. Kime does as he says, looking up at the sky. Before long, he hears the sound of footsteps running along across the stone pavement. Make sure you come back alive, Doc. Kime strolls along, looking at the blue sky, until he disappears in the marketplace crowd. I do kind of hope that Doc had made it to his son in time. All right, that's one of the things I was looking for, because yeah, now we can actually do that. We could only do that with the full party. There is another one that we can do with the full party as well. Well, in fact, there's a lot of some of these. There's a lot of some of these stuff right now. We do want to basically go find a side quest we started in the last session, which hopefully might be. No, not there. Are you? No. Oh, no. No. We're on the northwest side. You? No. Oh, shoot. You? Oh my, this letter's from my son. He hasn't contacted us once since he left. To be honest, I'd given up hope on him. He was doing well, I think. I've been so worried about him. Please tell that troublemaker to come home soon. Just don't rush him. It's dangerous right now. Anyway, thank you for delivering this letter. Here's a little something for you. Black belt. This increases the counter rate. So that actually would be good for time and death, since I have counter on both of them. That's that. We also can do another thing we started too. Yeah, right. Alright, so next. Oh, wrong one. I ran too fast. So next we're going to be doing, right now we're going to kind of be doing a bit of a lot of, no. Oh, right, yeah. Right now we're going to be doing a lot of dreams since we've been on a lack of dreams for the past 2 sessions. Like last stream was back in Saman, which that was the session before last. So yeah, we're focusing on dreams a little bit, and there actually are 3 we can now see with the full part. Well, 4 we can now see with the full party. The next 3 is actually at the camp. Alright, so first one. Okay. There we go. Now these next 3, we actually have to see in order. So yeah. So this is the first one. The village closest to heaven. In this village, ringed by jagged mountains, the woman gave birth to many children. 5 or 6 is not uncommon. Just the other day, the wife of the village headman gave birth to her 10th child. Jesus fucking Christ, people. What do you think that is? The young fellow asked the traveler, looking down the snow-blanketed village. Time cocks his head in search of an answer. Meanwhile, the young man takes something like a piece of crystal candy from a small leather pouch. He pops it into his mouth and says with a laugh, Kids, they die right away. Children? Uh-huh. Hardly anybody grows up to be an adult. Most kids have died after 5 or 6 short summers. Look at the village headman's wife. She's lost 7 kids already. Jesus fucking Christ. Whether from a genetic problem or disease endemic to the area, the people of this village have always lived short lives, she says, from way back. Now that you mention this time, I haven't seen any old people here. See what I mean? A few decades ago, I'm told, one person lived to be 50. But people say that's the oldest anyone ever got in the whole history of the village. This is why we give birth to lots of kids. Give birth to a lot and lose a lot. If just one of them lives into adulthood, though, the family line is saved and the village history continues. You see my point? Jimmy. The young man is 16, as is his wife. Their first child is due to be born any day now. Literally today or tomorrow. I know it's other times, but it's like... Christ. The young man crunches down the candy in his mouth. Let's get going, he says. Around his wrist, he winds the ropes he used to pull the sled. I was gonna say sleed. It's like, no, it's sled. He hasn't loaded the sled yet, but dragging it up the steep, snow-covered road is hard work. This, he says, is why the pay is so good. Only a few days earlier, he lost his good friend and fellow worker, who had been 3 years his senior. When time happened along, the young man asked him if he would help by pushing the sled from behind until they cleared the path. Time agreed, and they became an instant team. Time circles around to the back of the sled and asks, "You don't have any animals to pull the sled?" "Right not," says the young man. "I know it sounds strange, but our horses and cattle and donkeys all die young. You'd spend a lot of money at the town market buying an animal, and they'll kill over before it's done a lick of work. Finally, the best way is for us humans to plow fields and pull the sleds ourselves." Yeah. The arms with which the young man himself is pulling his sled are massive, and he forges through the road's snowy cover with powerful steps. His fellow worker was stronger still, he says. He taught me how to pull the sled, how to set rabbit traps, how to build a fire, all the skills I need to live with all the love he would give to a kid brother. Before I knew it, he was gone. People here always die suddenly, he says. You be perfectly healthy 1 minute and drop dead the next. No time for suffering, just like that. No time to call a doctor, even if the doctor comes. When the doctor comes, there's nothing he can do. Did your friend die that way? Mm-hmm. He was shoveling the snow that piled up overnight, clearing the road when he dropped dead. By the time we ran over to help him, he was gone. That's how it always is. Always. How they die. Grown-ups, kids, everyone. You too. You too, then. Guess so. Nobody knows when the moment is coming. Might be decades from now, or it could be tomorrow. After his cool pronouncement, the young man turns to look at time and pointing to his own chest, he says with a smile, "Maybe even now." The smile is genuine, without a hint of despair or bitterness towards the cruelty of his fate. "Aren't you afraid to die?" Time starts to ask him, but stops himself. It's a stupid question, he decides, and one that he's not qualified to ask. Where could a man burdened with eternal life find appropriate words to speak a man burdened with the threat of sudden death? My right arm starts hurting like crazy. Time and the young man keep dragging the sled up the steep mountain path. Their destination is the lake beyond the pass. The young man's job calls for him to cut ice from the surface of the frozen lake and transport it back to the village. We in the village call the lake the Spring of Life. If you trace the source of the water that bubbles out of the ground here and there in the village, you will always wind up at the Spring of Life. Time not time. Sorry about that. The ice from the Spring of Life takes forever to melt. That's why. Look, you can even do this. Again, the young man takes a piece of crystal candy, rather ice, from his letter mouth and puts it in his mouth. It gives you energy. It's indispensable when doing hard work or for pregnant women or infants. Just put a piece in your mouth and it gives you instant strength. The young man offers a piece to Kime, who nods in silence. We're not really supposed to give any to outsiders, but you're special because I'm putting you to work. If I give it to you, though, I want you to help me load the ice on the sled. I can't help by myself on the way back. Time silently accepts the ice from the young man, who assures him tastes good too, and watches him smiling. Time reverses his gaze somewhat and puts the piece in his mouth. That should be nothing but frozen water, but it has a mild sweet. Just as Time expected. He spits it out when the young man is not looking. Poison. I know that taste. The village people are used to this fate. They think nothing of it. Without a doubt, though, there is poison in the ice. The long flow of time smooths over the wounds inflicted by history. The permanently snow-capped peaks make people forget the existence of the wide world on the other side. The young man calls this lake the Spring of Life, but those who live far beyond the mountains, at a source river that feeds the lake, used to know it as the Pit of Death. Long, long ago, several hundred years ago, the entire area around the river's source was polluted with poisonous metallic outflow from a mine. The river was filled with dead fish flowing belly up, and the poisonous gas that rose like a mist from the ground killed both the earthbound animals and birds in the sky. The forests withered, and the lively town that had grown up with the development of the mine became a deserted ruin. Nature took many years to recover, but the forests eventually turned green again, which attracted small animals to eventually the larger animals that hunted them. People, however, never came back, and there was no one left to hand down the story of the tragedy that occurred at the river source deep in the mountains. The only one who knows everything that happened is Time, the man who's lived 1,000 years. The young man stands by the frozen lake and takes a nice, satisfying stretch. You know, he says to the traveler, I sometimes think that this village just might be the closest one to heaven in the whole world. Perhaps it is because we are too close to heaven that we're all surrounded by gods early on. Don't you think? Don't you think that might be true? Time says nothing in response to this. Over many years, this lake has accumulated the metallic poison that flowed into it from upstream. And over many years, the poison that infiltrated the soil has mingled with the groundwater, bubbling up in the spring water with which the villagers slake their thirst. No one knows the exact chemical makeup of the poison. At least it does not cause villagers to suffer until at the last moment of their lives. The accumulated poison suddenly takes its toll. This may be its one fortunate aspect. On the other hand, this might simply make the misfortune it brings all the more conspicuous. Still, the young man says, saws off a piece of ice by the shore. I do hope that my children, wife, and I, let me restart that. I do hope that the children, my wife, and I will be able to live longer lives. Okay, if we have 5, or at least one of them will live long enough to grow up and have kids. That way, for me, we like finding some meaning in having been born into this world. It was the same with my father and mother and my grandparents. They all had lots of kids, mourned the loss of lots of kids, but managed to raise one or two to adulthood before they died. That's what gives our lives meaning. If I were to tell them everything I know, if I were to tell them everything that's been buried in the darkness of history, and if you were to tell the other villagers, tragedy would not have succeeded. The young man says, when a baby is born here, they ring the village bell. Also, when someone dies, the same for both. Birth and death are like two sides of the same coin. So there's no sadness when someone dies. Everybody sees them off with a smile and a wish. Go ahead of us to heaven and save a good spot there for us. Do you understand that sentiment? I do, those time. I do. That's how we've always done it, welcoming the loss of new lives to the village and sending lots of lives off to heaven. I've never been much of a student, so I don't know how exactly how to put this. But I think that maybe the village close to heaven, the place where life and death are right next door to each other. Boy, you really just don't. The story does not want to stop with that. The young man gives time and a bare smile to sound his own words. Maybe it's because I'm about to have a kid of my own that I'm starting to think about these complicated things. No, that's fine. It's exactly what you need, Time says. The moment the words leave his mouth, the bell sounds from the foot of the hill. Several long, slow rings. That's it, exclaims the young man. My child has been born. He dips his head and says again, as if savoring the sound of his words, my child. While the bell is rung, likewise for births and deaths, the young man says the sound in each case is doubly different. The young villager learns to tell the two apart. He or she is considered to be an adult. I hope that this one lives a long time. The young man says, choking with the flood of emotions that show on his face when he goes on, as if to negate his own hopes for the future. Either way, whether it lives a long time or not, my child has been born to this world. That's all that matters. I'm so happy, so happy. Eyes full of tears, he turns a beatific smile on Time, and then, still smiling, he collapses where he stands. Time lays the young man's corpse on a sled and returns to the village. As the young man said, the villagers accept his death with the same smiles they had for the birth of his baby. Death is not a time for sorrow. It simply marks whether one has been called to heaven earlier or later. The young man's wife takes the nice candy from the leather pouch, from leather pouch. She is left behind and places gently into the baby's mouth. I want you to grow up to be strong and healthy, she says. God is saving a wonderful place up for you up in heaven. We go there slowly, slowly. Until you go to heaven, I want you to grow up here in the village till you're nice and big. Words have the gentle tone of a lullaby. Time says nothing. If he is to stand unflinchingly for what is right, his silence may be a crime. But be burdened with eternal life, time knows how suspect the right can be. Throughout history, people have fought and wounded and killed each other in the name of what they declare to be right. By comparison, the look on the young man's face is tranquility itself. The village closest to heaven is filled with happiness indeed. The baby starts to cry. It's loud wailing like a celebration of the beginning of its own life. However short that life is likely to be. Time leaves the village with a smile on his face. The village bell begins to peal, reverberating with utter clarity through the distant mountains, as if to bestow a blessing on the young man who lived life to the fullest with neither resentment nor regret. And when this too long life of mine draws to a close, Time thinks, I'd like to be sent off with the sound of bells like this if possible, because he knows that that day will never come. Time walks on, never stopping, never looking back. His long journey is far from over. Alright, so the second one of these three, we need to go back to the campsite. Okay. Oh, that doesn't remember. Let's check the before we do this. Before we go for the next one, let's look at the shop. We'll take 10 of these. We'll take 15 of these. We'll take 9 of these. We'll take 1 of these. We'll take another 5 of these. And yeah, weapons. Oh yeah, no, definitely take take a rough edge for time. Take a holy scepter for Sarah. And we'll equip that stuff. Oh, I forgot I had one. Oh well. There we go. The waterfall lies deep in the forest, more than a day's travel from the nearest village. It is said to be a holy place. In search of the divine amid the towering peaks, pilgrims stand beneath the plunging falls in their final aesthetic practice. The water of the falls is freezing cold. All it takes is a momentary lapse of concentration, and the person is hammered down by the rushing water. Stones of heaven. The pilgrims call this waterfall the Stones of Heaven. Heaven is testing their mental and physical strength, they say, by hurling an endless stream of stones down upon them in the form of a powerful waterfall. And the stones have a mysterious power. A former pilgrim says to Kine with a pained smile. He himself failed in the final austerity. Yeah, different stones of heaven fall on each person. It's as if they could see into your heart. What do you mean? Time asks. The burdens you bore and the dreams you dreamed in a secular world appear to you one after another. In his own case, what came to him first were the voices of women. The water plunging down into the basin of the falls begins to sound like women's voices. Sweet voices whispering in my ear, voices sobbing, voices moaning in lovers' embrace. Excuse me. Incredible variety. And for better or worse, I knew every single one of them. Some I was thrilled to hear again, while others I hated remembering. Meaning, you got into yourself a lot of trouble involving women? I have indeed. Not to boast or anything. But that was one battlefield I knew better than anybody. I survived, but I made a lot of women cry. Never a lot of them loved. My whole purpose in undertaking the Autisseries was to put that life behind me. But the Stones of Heaven know that they're what they're doing. In the final test, they go after your greatest weakness. If you waver the slightest bit, you've had it. The water slams you down, your centuries are over. The man feeds a stick of kindling to the fire. I'm not the only one, he continued. One fellow heard the voice of the mother he hadn't seen since he was a little boy. Another heard the voice of his dead child. Is it always voices? Wish it were. If you hold up through the voices, the waterfall's mist starts changing the shape of people. You might see somebody you hated so much in the secular world that you wanted to kill him, or it might be some loan shark that you had to go into hiding to get away from. One little flinch and you're done for. Sorry about that. This particular story can only be performed only once. There are no second chances. Someone who's preserved for a whole day and night, but who fails in the end, has no choice but to return to the secular world and defeat, as this man did. Not that it was easy for me to get on my feet again, once I was back there either. I, for some reason, I pressed A already. Let me jump to that one, and yeah, let me get to that one, and redo that. There we go. Not that it was easy to get my feet back on my feet again. Once I was back there either. The man chuckles and calls out to a young pilgrim, or more precisely, to a young man who was a pilgrim until a few moments ago, but who now just dragged himself up to the lip of the basin in utter dejection. Hey now, hey young fellow, campfire's over here. I got liquor to warm up your insides and fresh grilled meat. Fill that in your stomach and you'll have strength to make it down to the village. I don't know why my brain told me to press the A button. I don't know why. That was my bad. The man now makes his living as a master of the tea house by the waterfall. Of course, pilgrims undergoing autisseries carry no money with them. But the man is not expecting to become rich doing this work. For bodies chilled by long hours of pounding under the waterfall, provides a warming fire, food, and drink, and sometimes even money to tide them over when they first go down the village. Payment can be made at any time. The men can bring them the money after they started taking earnings again from jobs they find in the secular world. He sets no date for repayment. He takes no IOUs. He says he is fine with that. And there aren't some who don't pay at all, time is? Of course there are, the man says, matter of fact. But I think of my running this tea house as another kind of discipline for myself. Another kind of discipline? That's right. The stones of heaven will accept only the strongest pilgrims, one unperturbed by anything. The role I want to play is to accept the ones who are broken by the stones of heaven, the weak human beings. I want to go on accepting the weakest of the weak, the kind who not only succumb to the stones of heaven, but who even fail to pay for their food and drink afterwards. Is that your kind of discipline? Exactly. Makes for a hard living, that's for sure. I was prepared to deal with cheats and weaklings, but there are a lot more of those than I ever bargained for. This is what Hardy laughed. But then he quickly turned serious and says, to tell you the truth, I think this is less of a form of discipline than as a way to get even. Get even? With who? With those gods or whatever that keep hurling down their stones of heaven. Human beings are weak, shockingly so, in the eyes of a god. But I think, and this is not because of what happened to me, that being weak is the best thing about human beings. Weakness can make us cunning, but it can also make us kind. Weakness can torment us, but it can just as easily be our salvation. Don't you see? The gods are hurling down their stones of heaven just to make people aware of their own weakness, just to make them savor their own powerlessness. Then I just soon drop my trousers and moon them. I slap my bare butt and say to them, I'm not like you. I'm not going to punish human beings for being weak. I accept them for what they are, weakness and all. The man feeds a new piece of kindling to the fire and says with a shy shrug, Guess they got carried away. Tom smiles and shakes his head as if to say, Not at all. Only though, the man goes on, You're a traveler. You don't seem to be a pilgrim. You're right, I'm not. I was trying to cross over the pass and took the wrong road. Well then, as long as you're here, why not give the stones of heaven a try? There's something to talk about. No thanks, Tom says, smiling. What's the matter? Afraid they're going to show you whatever it is that shakes you up? The man smiles and nods. Can't say I blame you, though. The man is mistaken about time. He's not the least bit afraid of such a thing. What scares him is the opposite prospect, that of not being shaken up, or of encountering himself with a person unmoved by anything at all. Yeah. Anyway, it would be suicide to jump into the waterfall without preparation. How's that? It's freezing cold for one thing. There's even colder water bubbling up from a spring in the basin. Even the most well-conditioned person has to be careful and take time to accustom himself to low temperature. If you go all in at once, stop your heart. The man jerks his chin to the direction of the fall as if to say, Look at them. Two new pilgrims are preparing themselves for the challenge of the stones of heaven. The men appear to be brothers. The older one kneels at the edge of the basin, splashing himself and massaging the cold water on his skin from foot to heart level. The younger brother is too impatient for that. He wants to jump right under the falls. The older brother cautions him and takes all the time he needs to accustom himself to the water's coldness. He exudes the quiet power of one who has withstood the most rigorous training. The tea house owner says to Kime, smiling, We're in for a rare privilege. I think we're about to see the first attempt in a long while. You tell, Kime asks? You can if you spend as much time here as I have. The winners and losers are decided before the men ever step under the falls. Having completed its meticulous preparation, the elder brother enters the basin. Even then, the steps he takes are slow and cautious. The younger brother follows him in, picking up a spray with every step. The younger one is helpless, says the man with a sigh, adding another stick of kindling to the fire. Better get the liquor ready now, he mutters to himself. The brothers stand side by side beneath the pounding waterfall. The stones of heaven rain down upon them. As the man predicted, the elder brother, utterly calm, stands up to the onslaught of images sent by the stones of heaven. Also, as the man predicted, the younger brother yields to the stones of heaven and is beaten down into the basin of the waterfall. But then, something happens that goes far beyond what the man predicted. Writhing in agony, the younger brother bobs helplessly in the basin, unable to raise himself. He is drowning. He tears his own chest. His heart is failing. He was not fully prepared to enter the icy water. Help me, brother. Please. But the elder brother doesn't move. He remains under the waterfall in total concentration. Hey, what are you doing here? Doing there? Hurry up and help him, the man yells. The elder brother's expression remains unchanged. He never flinches. He's drowning. You can't just leave him like that. He'll die. The elder brother never moves. He grits his teeth, keeps his eyes clamped shut, and shows no sign of moving out from under the waterfall. To declare, this is it. This is the final test of the stones of heaven. The man screams at him, "You idiot!" and dives in a rolling basin in a rash effort to help the younger brother. The moment his untrained body hits the frigid water, the shock seizes his heart. Still, he reaches out towards his drowning brother, sinking beneath the surface. A great shudder goes through him. An enormous groan. He takes hold of the young man's wrist and pulls his limp body toward him. He tries to return to shore, but his strength gives out and he falls back into the water. Next is Kime's turn to dive face beneath the falls. He takes hold of the two unconscious men and drags them over the shore. The stones of heaven pour down on him. He is insulted by one vision after another. Battlefields, seeing swimmers wandering, shooting stars, the climbing and sinking sun, raging winds, and countless deaths of those he has come to know on the road of all too long life. Will do you no good, he silently declares to the gods hurling the stones of heaven at him. My heart remains unmoved. I have lived through a reality far crueler than any phantom has shown me. Whether or not his life is a sign of his strength, he does not know. He will not boast of it, nor will he tell the tale to others. He has, however, lived it. That much is certain. He's lived it through the years. Time climbs onto the shore and lays the limp bodies of the tea house master and the younger brother beside the fire. As he warms himself, he thinks, the gods who hurl the stones of heaven are inferior gods. If they could truly see into everything, they would never have been foolish enough to show Time scenes from his past. Excuse me. Honestly, granted, though, I would rather be burping a little bit more than yawning. I do apologize for either or, though. What would disturb him most of all would be the unwelcome sight. Yeah, sight from his own limitless future. If they were to ask you one simple question, for what purpose were you born? His knees would buckle. The first to regain consciousness is the young pilgrim. The tea house master's condition is critical. Time attempts to warm him and massage his clenched heart with little effect. Pull yourself together now. Look, we've got a fire here. A fire you built. Let it warm you. Time shouts into his ear until the man finally manages to force his eyes open, a crack moves his purple lips. Is he alright? Sure, he's fine. Don't. Oh, good. Good. Pull yourself together, man. Tell me that. Is strength the same as coldness? Never mind. Stop talking. Because that is true. If strength is coldness, I don't want any part of it. The man gives Kind a faint smile and closes his eyes. He will never open them again. Human beings are weak and fragile. All it takes for a person to die is for a fist-sized organ to stop beating. Human kindness, on the other hand, may derive from everyone's profound awareness of the fragility of life. Facing the tea house master's lifeless corpse, the younger brother hangs his head and cries. This weak man, defeated by the stones of heaven, sheds heartfelt tears for the man who saved his life. His strong elder brother, meanwhile, is still being pounded by the waterfall, unfazed by the stones of heaven. Surely his strength will be recognized by the gods and he will bring his aesthetic training to perfect reflection. Still, Time finds the tear-stained face of the younger brother beautiful in a way the stronger elder brothers can never be. And he wishes that he himself could be moved like the younger man. There is an unmatched unmatched nobility and the last smile of the tea house master who gave up his life to save that of a complete stranger. Time wishes that he too could experience such feelings. And what of my own fate? Living through 1,000 years of life is not strange, yet burdened with a life you cannot lose. Will time ever be able to change the sweetness and the kindness? This he cannot tell. He can only live unknowing. He can only walk on. He can only continue his journey. Time looks at his reflection facing the waterfall. On the water's trembling surface, he sees the trembling face of a lonely wanderer. We also now have one more, which is in the medical tent, which I think was this one. Yeah, there we go. Ow, it hurts. Mom said it'd get better if I take my medicine, but it still hurts. Fine, I'll be gone soon, Henry says. It makes no difference in a life like this. She smiles with some effort, puts a great tablet on her tongue, and swallows it. Use or possession of this drug by ordinary people is prohibited by law and strictly controlled. The person taking it feels as if every bone in his or her body is melting. All the anxieties or cares of life vanish as the individual wanders in a space between anger and pleasure. Why don't you take one too? Henry pulls another tablet from the leather pouch and holds out to Time, who's standing by her bed. Coward, she says with a grim smile and shakes his head in silence. Then places the second tablet on her tongue. How many pills has that today? I forget. With empty eyes, Henry stares in his face and smiles. This is an addiction. Serious one. How do you feel? He asks. Not bad, she says. Very happy. She gives him a smile. It is deeper and softer than her earlier smile. Maybe too deep and too soft. It also appears to be the smile of ultimate bliss, but for that very reason, it also has a frightening quality that sends chills up his spine. The drug is called signpost. This is not its formal designation, of course. People started calling it as a secret code word to avoid prosecution, and the term caught on. Signpost is, however, the single most appropriate name for this drug. Each pill takes the user one step further down the road, and when the withdrawal symptoms strike, the person rushes to take the next pill, thereby advancing yet another step. Farther and farther and farther. The road marked by the signpost is disputed, entirely free of pain or suffering. At the end of the road, however, there awaits only death. The use and possession of signposts is though strictly prohibited because it is seen as an invitation to gradual suicide. How many more pills, I wonder? Henry mutters, stretching her emaciated body full length on the bed. It is a question that time cannot answer. He knows only that she is nearing the end of her signpost journey. It is for which this that time has been called to this hospital, which is a facility for people on the verge of death. I have no regrets, Henry says. None at all. This way I can die pleasantly, quietly, like going to sleep. Her empty eyes are fixed on time, but they seem to register nothing. I'll be fine. He reaches into the leather pouch again. You probably shouldn't do that, Time says. I'm telling you I'm fine, he says, laughing, and placing a third signpost in her mouth. She closes her eyes. Her second eye stops harbor dark shadow. He settles into the chair by her bed. He waits for her to say more, but she seems to have fallen asleep. Her breathing is calm, and a slight smile plays upon her sleeping face. The signpost seems to be working. Without the drug, hammer-like pains in her back and violent chills prevent her from sleeping. Even worse than the physical suffering would be fear of approaching death. More a girl than a woman, young Anne was struck by mortal illness. At the end of her long battle with the disease, the doctor gave up all hope of treating it and prescribed signposts to her instead. Oh, Jimmy. Ordinary people are not allowed to use the drug, but special permission is given to patients for whom there is no hope of recovery in order to afford them a peaceful death and bring their lives to quiet close. In other words, enable them to die without having to deal with regret or despair. Before Khan began this work, the doctor explained the effects of the medicine to him, including with a smile. In other words, signpost forgives all the debts the person has built up toward life. Henry wakens. After she has confirmed Kyne's presence at her bedside, she says, "You don't have to worry." Close her eyes again. "I'm fine. I think I could just go just like this." So she knows there are other possibilities. In certain rare cases, signposts can have undesirable side effects. Sometimes at the very end, when a person is just beginning to slide into the effects of death, there can be an attack of nightmares. The patient experiences a literal death agony. Even though signposts have provided a wonderfully tranquil departure on a person's final journey, every last bit of tranquility can be swept away in the cusp of death. Worse still, some patients conclude their hallucinatory episode with a frenzied physical outburst. You might have barely enough strength to breathe until, tormented by the nightmares, you lash out violently enough to break the bed and even strangle the caregiver or attendant. Such can be the mysteries of the human body, or, more so, the human heart. Yeah, this is why time is. He is to stand vigil by Anne's deathbed against the remote possibility that she might be tormented by nightmares and go wild under the influence of signpost side effects. The doctor supplied him with yet another drug. It is a poison that will kill the patient instantaneously. Time has been instructed to administer it to Anne as soon as she begins to exhibit strange behavior. "Believe me, this is a humane measure," the doctor said. "Not murder by any means." The face of a patient who has suffered the drug's side effects is truly grotesque, not something that anyone can stand to look at. A person's death should never be that excruciating. This is a final kindness to give the person a quiet, peaceful ending. I was not entirely convinced by the doctor's rationale. Neither, however, was he able to bring himself to take issue with it. Now he can only hope that, led by her signpost, Henry will be able to pass her final moments in peace. Some part of her inner self might be paralyzed at the moment, and her empty eyes might never regain their former gleam. But if she is happy that way, it's nothing that anyone has the right to deny her. Waking again, Henry reaches for another signpost, but drops the leather pouch. "Sorry, but..." "Would you pick it up for me?" she asks Time. He no longer has the strength to even hold the pouch. Her final moments are closing in. Time lifts the pouch from the floor, and when she asks him to put a tablet in her mouth, he hesitates a moment before complying. Her tongue is dry and rough as sandpaper. She really must be nearing the end. Having taken another signpost, Henry seems to be overtaken by that linguist. Langurus? I can't pronounce that word. In fact, this is the first time I've ever heard that word. I've even heard of that word, so I apologize for that. Feeling again. Languorous. That's how I'm gonna pronounce that word. Languorous feeling again. She moves the flesh of her cheeks in a way that has no meaning. Releases a feeble sigh and says, I was just dreaming. What about? About when I was little. Everybody was there. My father, my mother, my big brother and sister, all smiling. This is not a good sign. The drug might be having a bad effect. If signpost is working properly, she should not be dreaming, especially about her family. The more lingering attachment or regrets or sadness a person trains, the more likely he or she is to experience side effects. This is precisely why the families never admitted to the patient's room. The final farewells are made before the administering of signposts, and only after everybody's finished they meet again. Everybody was in such a good mood. I wonders if she should give her another signpost. I'm sure when I was born that my parents never imagined I would die so young. A more seasoned caregiver would probably give her another pill without hesitation. Then Annery would fall into another peaceful sleep without any thoughts to disturb her, perhaps never to wake again. Time, however, sits the letter pouch on the shelf and waits to hear what else she has to say. Henry herself does not request another signpost, but moves the sunken flesh of her cheeks. This time, the movement takes the form of a deliberate smile. You know, she says to Time, I'm beginning to wonder. About what? Why I was ever born? Time is at a loss for words. But she does not let this prevent her from continuing. I mean, if I'm going to die so young, when I never had a chance to fall in love, wouldn't it have been better if I'd never been born at all? Time nods as if to tell her he understands. Why was I ever born? This is the question that Time himself has been pondering all throughout this endless story. He has still not found the answer, maybe never will. My mother and father will be sad, I'm sure. We better rest. Maybe I was born to make my parents sad. Close your eyes, take a few long, deep breaths. I have some more medicine. This time, he gives it to her without hesitation. Thank you, she says simply for the first time, closes her eyes. I guess it's possible I might never wake up again. Possible. It's a good thing to die without suffering, isn't it? It probably is. You die with your head in the palm, without thinking or feeling anything. That's a good thing too, isn't it? Time says nothing. It is the question he cannot answer. The question he doesn't want to answer. Henry falls asleep without asking him anything else. She is still sound asleep. The doctor examines her until close time. She will probably pass away before the night is out. It is late that night, close to dawn, when Henry begins to suffer. Sorry, Mommy. I'm sorry it's jam. It was me. She's running a high fever with large drops of sweat on her forehead. She moans deliriously. What's taking you so long, Daddy? Hurry, hurry, the butterfly's going to fly away. I wonders if she could be reliving memories of her early childhood. You hit me. Big brothers shouldn't hit their little sisters. You're bad. I'm going to tell Mommy. Convulsions rack her entire body. Let me in. I want to play with the big girls. It doesn't end with her delirium. She starts moving her arms to the trying to embrace family members floating above her. This is what they were afraid of. The side effects. Take me with you, please. I don't want to stay here. Don't leave me. Her eyes mingle with tears. Hallucinations seem to have taken place of past memories in her empty eyes. Please, I'll be good. I'll do what you tell me, Mommy and Daddy. Take me with you. In fact, just the opposite is happening. The ones being left behind are the family who so love their youngest daughter, Henry. Don't leave me alone. Mommy, Daddy, come back, please. You can feel her pain and sorrow. Her convulsions become increasingly violent. Her face contorts in agony. Alerted by the commotion, Dr. Carr comes charging into the room. What are you doing? He shouts at Time. Put her out of her misery now. Time knows what he should do. Yeah, this is what he was hired for. The poison that will prevent Henry from suffering any more is within easy reach. What he takes hold of softly is not the poison, but the hands that Henri stretches out of an empty space. Into empty space, my bad. What are you doing? Doctor shouts at him. Stop it. This is the direct violation of your duties. You're fired. Time turns towards the fuming doctor and says simply, be quiet, please. What the hell are you? But the doctor breaks off his shouting when he catches the sight of the look on Henry's face. She is smiling. Are these my mother's hands? My father's? Big brothers? Big sisters? Tell me, whose hands are these? She asks joyfully. Feeling the strength of Time's grasp, she squeezes back, an almost indescribably happy smile on her face, tears streaming from her eyes. Here with all of you, together, always. Her convulsions have subsided, breathing has calmed down. Time whispers in her ear, thank you, Henry. Daddy? Falling through her tears, she says, I know it's you. Time smiles back and says, I'm speaking for all of us. For me, your mother, your brother, your sister, when I say, thank you, Henry. Henry seems almost embarrassed when she asks, for what? For having been born. For having come be with us. For having allowed us to share time with you. Mommy and I, and brother and sister, we're all so grateful for you for that. Fortunately, life has its limits. There are long lives and short lives. In life, even more unfortunately, there's happiness and unhappiness. There have, no, yeah, no, there are happy lives and unhappy lives. For all this, however, for the chance of being alive in the world, for the chance of having lived life in this world, the only thing to say is thank you. When Kime says this to her, Henry gives her slender chin a little shake and says, no, I should be the one thanking you, all of you. These are Henry's last words. Look on her death and facing death falling from torment of drug-induced nightmares is neither tranquil nor peaceful. It is, however, happy. Are you really leaving us? The doctor asked, Time with a genuine sorrow show regret. Dressed for the road, Time smiles and says, I don't think I'll ever be able to perform the duties of a caregiver again properly. Tell you the truth, Time, I still can't get over the way that it's impossible to do it your way. With a serious look, he asked, I wonder if your hands give off some substance like signposts. Otherwise, I can't imagine how she could have died so happily. Time turns his palms toward the doctor. They're just ordinary hands, nothing special. I'm not so sure about that, the doctor says. We spent some time studying them properly, maybe. Time shakes his head with a sour smile as if to say, find a thing. He does have one point make with Doc. I've seen lots of people die. Probably a lot more than any of you doctors have. That's why I wanted to bring her together with her family. That's the only reason I took her hand. The doctor's vague nods suggest he's not convinced, which hammers through talk. He strides off towards the highway. He must continue his journey. His journey will not go on as long as he is unable to reply to Anne Marie's question. Why was I ever born? Henry had a family. Her life consisted of joining and leaving her family. Time has not even had that much. Where did I come from? Where am I going? Why does the passing wind draw time along this endless journey? A journey without time. This is why time is always free and always alone. I will admit, I think that's kind of the most beautiful. Oh, okay. I think what I was going to say before I was interrupted with that. I think that was the most beautiful one ever. All right, so what do we get? General's memo. The personal effects of the general who hired Kime lied in the Crimson Forest. All right. It's nearly time to go ahead and end. We're going to take care of this treasure, and then we're also going to go and do go start another side quest that we could have started when we were separated. You probably might remember it. I am going to save first though. But I also will state we do have a lot more side questing stuff to do. So next session will be a lot of that. Will be a lot of that. We're going to save here in the refugee camp. Because we only have 5 more dreams to find. Shoot. However, one of these is actually a bit of a story bit. A little bit of a story bit. So we will be doing this. Yes, yeah. So, oh wait, no. Actually, I accidentally closed the oh no, no, that's the one that makes. There we go. To charge the one. All right. The first thing we want to do is Ice Canyon North. Because if you remember, during after the boss fight, there is a path that leads upwards, and one of those seals that we can unlock with Tobin is there. So we're going to go and take care of that. If we do get any fights, we will be doing them because we kind of want to, but yeah, right here. This one next does. Quad Element Charm. Interesting. What is that? Oh, that's just for Tobin. Oh wow, okay, wow. Ooh, that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So none of the immortals can do it, equip that, but he can. Very interesting. Oh, so do we have roll a night? No, okay. Alright. Really nice. I'm sorry we didn't even go into any fights. But the next thing we want to go to is... Oh, we still can't go there yet. Oh, okay. That kind of sucks. That's kind of annoying. Yeah. We're going to save here. We save over here. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the tracks then. I don't actually know. Oh. Same right here. Mana bottle. Yeah, we'll still save in front of the thing, in front of this thing, in this area. Right, where's Limestone Cave? Safe spot. Da. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Alright. So, a few things before we go ahead and just jump straight out to the thing. I might be doing a little bit of off-screen grinding because it's been a long time since we used time set at least Kime, Seth, and Sarah, especially Kime and Sarah. So those three might be getting some new abilities. Might be getting some new abilities from the mortals and the equipment. So be on the lookout. I'm not sure, but like I said, I don't know if I will be streaming on Saturday. If I do stream on Saturday, it will be doing a lot more grinding side stuff before we get back to the story, which I kind of hate that this is right here, but at least there's no enemies, so we can actually just go straight to the ship, so we can leave out our plan. Jimmy. And which the safe spot was literally right in this area, so we can just run around and get the enemies, but yeah. But honestly, I think our next target would probably be Ura. Because we can't go. Or we might be heading to Numara. Yeah, that hurt. Accidentally ran my thing into the thing. So yeah, like, what I do know, we do have a few more side stuff in Ura. We do have, yeah. So for the next session, we'll probably head to Ura first, because we do have a few things we can do. Then we might head to the Ypsilon Mountains, because looking at the list for dreams, there is a dream in this area. Luckily, luckily everything else is about normal things. But yeah, so that will be it for this. We also will be taking going around a lot of areas for basically the one seed side quest as well. So yeah, next session will be a lot of side stuff, grinding / that sort of thing. So yeah. Anyway, that will be it for the stream.